Hey Flosstube, Danielle here. My pronouns are she, her, and today I am doing a Flosstube extra, and I think I'm gonna call it something like, what is my cross stitch bucket list? A little bit of backstory. I was watching Flosstube and algorithm threw me a suggestion for a video from somebody named What Nadine Made. I will try, I don't really do the YouTubey things, but I will try to remember to link her channel below. And basically she is a relatively newer cross stitcher, and she wanted to make a list of the bucket list of things that she really wants to stitch. And it got me thinking about the projects that I have that have been sitting kitted, mainly kitted up. You'll see most of this is kitted up. Have been sitting kitted up for a while because I really want to stitch it. So then I was kind of thinking, gosh, like, why do I have these projects that have been sitting here for so long, kitted up? Other than that, you know, we all have too many whips and too many things kitted up and too many options. So other than that, and I realized that pretty much all of them have something that is kind of intimidating me. Kind of like, as badly as I want the finished product, there's something standing between it being kitted up and me starting it as a whip. And so I pulled some projects that I wanted to share with you, and I will show you the project, tell you why I think I haven't started it, and then you can tell me, like, out of what I'm going to show you, you know, what would you like to see me start? What are you working on any of these projects? Do you have any of these projects and want to start them together? Yeah, let me know. So for people who are not new here, like, I'm doing a face-to-face. Hi. If you are new here, I normally do my Flosstubes vlog style, where I kind of just show you my whip, like, hey, here's my whip. I put a few days into it. Now I'm going to do this. And then I show you the next whip, and I just accumulate clips for a month and then put them all together and put them up. But this is definitely worthy of a face-to-face. So for like face-to-face, I really only do that for like whip parades. But since there's a lot to show you, I decided to do it this way. And normally when I do a face-to-face, I'm in my dining room, but it is actually daytime. Like, who am I even? It occurred to me, I should probably start telling you guys, like, when I do my clips, I'll be like, hey, you know, it's Saturday, July, whatever. But I never give you the time. And when I tell you, it is always like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m. Yeah, because like normally I'm up at night, my family is asleep, so I have the run of the downstairs. But it is daytime. It's like 5:30 p.m. right now. Oh, and I should tell you, it is Friday, August 8th, which apparently is World Cross Stitch Day. So good way to celebrate, right? So I'm in my craft room. It's sort of a spare bedroom slash overflow for my brother-in-law's stuff slash my craft room. I actually have a little sign back there that says Danielle's L&S. I have fabric, kitted up things, floss patterns, extra DMC. Yeah, so I'm in my craft room, and yep, we're gonna film this. So in no particular order, but definitely with some intention based on how I piled things. And there will just be a few where I have to insert pictures because there's like 2 that I don't have kitted up, and then there's 1 I'm so intimidated by I don't even own. So I'll have to put pictures in for those. And I do apologize that the lighting really sucks in here. It's definitely much better in my dining room. And there will be zippers. So these first three are all by Glendon Place. And if you know Glendon Place, then I probably don't even really need to explain why these are intimidating. But here is the first one that I have selected. This is Woodland Wonder by Glendon Place. And like I said, if you know Glendon Place, then I probably don't even need to explain. There's a whole lot of metallic and beads going on in here. But I did buy the kit, so it looks like there's 3 metallics and 5 beads. Yeah, so lots of metallic, lots of beads. And you know, I think I'm more intimidated by the metallic, and I don't want to say intimidated like scared, just intimidated. I don't wanna. I did do some beading really recently on, well, you will see this video before you see that video, but I just did like 200 beads, and when I tell you it took a long time, it took a long time. So like that's, and then just working with the metallic in general is not gonna be my favorite thing, you know? But next up by Glendon Place is this beautiful hibiscus mandala. If I can get it out of the, oh, and when I say kit it up, just as a note, I almost never kit anything up with fabric. I like to pick fabric before I start a project, because then I have all of the available fabrics to me. When I first started cross stitching, I kitted up a lot of stuff with fabric. And at the time it was a lot of like 14 count Aida. And I just found for me personally, like seeing as how there's stuff that I kitted up, you know, almost 5 years ago now, because I've been cross stitching, actually come to think of it, is very close to the anniversary of me starting cross stitching. I think it's closer to the end of the month, but maybe the middle. I maybe could find it and I'll put it on the screen. So this is also kind of a fun way to celebrate. So most of the stuff that I kitted up like 4 years ago, a lot of it I still haven't stitched. And so I'm just like, why would I put fabric into a thing when it might be 5 years before I get to it, and then I'm gonna have like more fabric or just different fabric. And I would never want like the perfect piece of fabric for something like to be hidden away in my kits, you know, like I just pick fabric when I go to start. But yeah, so this is the hibiscus mandala, again by Glendon Place. And I mean, I could be wrong. No, there are beads. I just didn't buy the beads, apparently. When I kitted it up, I bought it from Glendon Place, and I bought all the dinky dyes that is called for. It looks like there is a thing of anchor to attach beads with. And then there are 4 Mill Hill beads that I'll need to get when the time comes. But yeah, this one is just beautiful. I had picked out a blue piece of fabric to stitch this on before I decided to just de-kit any fabric and put it in stash. And I still might do that. Yeah. Glendon Place, hibiscus mandala. Now this next one I inherited from a stitcher who had passed away. She was a regular at my LNS, which is Acorns and Threads. And when you see this, you're gonna just die. But so this is the Bird of Paradise mandala. And she, I cannot remember her name, unfortunately. But she had already done, forgive me, I don't know which way is up. I know I can figure it out, but I don't know. Quickly. She had already done all of the whole stitches. So literally all that's left is beads. But when I say all that's left is beads, like in this border, like you can see how there's like the twisty border. There are beads in that whole like a little 4 or 5 doodad thing between every rise and fall in the whole border. And as well, all of these little doodads and these little doodads are all beads as well. So there's a lot of beads, but she's done with the whole stitches. I think this is a 28 count linen. And I mean, I just couldn't not. And it even still has like all of the floss. She had left all of the floss in her project bag. And there are, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 colors of beads. But yeah, so I mean, it's not one I would have picked to stitch for myself. I definitely would stitch the hibiscus before I would have stitched Bird of Paradise. But oh, helps to put the chart back into the bag. But with all the whole stitches already being done, like, it definitely seemed like a good investment. Yeah, when she passed away, her family reached out to Janine and was like, hey, you know, could you get all this stuff into the hands of stitchers? Okay, that concludes the Glendon Place section of our video. Okay, so this next one. I saw this stitched up at Acorns and Threads. I'm at least going to try to do the zippering while I'm not talking. And I saw it and I was like, immediately, I need this in my life. Like, get me, like, find me the chart, find me the floss. Like, I need it in my life. And it's Quaint Rose Needle Arts Percy Penguin. Oh my God, he's so cute. But now, when I look at him now, I don't know if it's that I don't love him as much as that initial, like, oh my gosh, I must have him, I must stitch him. Or if it's just that he's so big. He is so freaking big, and like, I see him still at Acorns. It was one of the staff who stitched it up, and so her stitch is still there at the shop, and I'm just like, y'all, that's a lot of stitching. But I did get, they kitted it up for me with all of the called for classic colorworks. The other good question is, did they kit, like, I'm typically a 2/2 or 2/1 if I'm on Ada Stitcher. And a good question would be, you know, do I have enough to stitch this 2/2/2/1? Or would I need extra skeins? Didn't think about that, but that's all of the floss. Yeah, it doesn't tell me stitch count. Yeah, and the model was stitched on 40 count. So I'm not surprised that there is no, like, notations of needing extra skeins or something. But like the black floss, I could definitely see needing 2 skeins. We'll see. So it's just sort of, I think its size definitely intimidates me. Okay, next. I can't remember if I bought this for myself or if my husband bought this for me. But if you've been here for a while, then you know I am not really a full coverage stitcher. I think I may have bought this for myself, but like knowing this is something my husband would love. And my screen, I don't need it right now. So this is a Dimensions Gold kit, or the Gold Collection Petites Santa's Secret. I really love it. And it doesn't even look like it has too much backstitch. Well, the backstitch mainly looks like it's just to define his beard and mustache and like the hat, the furry hat. But y'all, I just don't know. I just don't know if it's something that I can really ever tackle. Like, this doesn't even seem like that much thread. Like, this doesn't seem that bad, right? Like, there's only 3 cards of floss. There's not even, and they look like really good long lengths, like to loop start. Yeah, they're decent. I mean, I would cut longer, but they're decent to loop start. So I don't know. It's not that big because it's a petite, but yeah, it's, you know, I'm just not full coverage. I have tried 2 like Haid type full coverages and I've abandoned both. I am more of like a Caroline Manning full coverage than a like realistic artwork full coverage kind of person. Okay, next. If the bag will open. There we go. So I had the opportunity last year to go to Salem, Massachusetts, and it was really cool, and I've kind of like fallen down a rabbit hole of I want to stitch all the Salem things. And so when this pattern came out, I don't know if this was a market release. Yeah, I think it might have been a market release. I don't know. But it is Plum Street Samplers Salem Sampler. And it is one of the most gorgeous samplers ever. And I bought it. I pretty much immediately kitted it up. And then I realized, well, no, so at first I was like, there's a lot of floss in this. And I did not want to have to presume, because of course it was stitched on 36 count using 1 strand. So I didn't want to have to presume like, what do I need 2, you know, skeins of, because I'm going to probably stitch it, you know, with 2 strands on 32 count, right? But then I was like, I'll just stitch on 20 count. And so therefore use 1 strand. So therefore just buy 1 skein of everything. However, then I noticed in the chart that there is, so it's hard to see. Well, so I know for sure the word Salem up here is stitched over 1. Actually, so the word Salem is over 1. And then this entire, where it says Gallows Hill, that entire box around, not this whole box right here, but just around Gallows Hill, there's like, it's squared off into a box and that whole thing is stitched over 1. And I was like, well, there's just no way that I can do that much over 1 stitching on 20 count Aida. Like, we're not doing that to ourselves. So now I feel like I don't have a choice but to stitch it on 32 count Jobelan so that I can do the over 1 stitching. But A, it's going to make it much bigger. And then B, now I don't know like what I need, you know, multiple skeins of because of that. But yeah, and I did do some substitutions because there were weak dye works. This is not like a pretty pretty shot, but there's a lot of floss. Like, it's a lot. But I mean, look at this list. That's a lot of floss, y'all. So now I'm just very like, you know, it's big. And doing that much over one also does not look fun to me either. Because having done 1 over 1 on 28 count, I am not looking forward to the idea of doing 1 over 1 on 32 count, but I don't want to stitch on 28 count, because then it'll be even bigger and take even more floss. Okay, next up. Y'all, I have had this kitted up for so long. This isn't a good picture, so I'll put in a picture in editing. But this is Swan Lake by Alforce Embroidery. And I watched Heike of Stone Cold Coffee Crafts, who doesn't really do Flosstube anymore, stitch this years ago. So many years ago. And I don't exactly know 100% why this intimidates me, other than I think it might be this variegated floss. So like, I just don't want it to look stripey. And these, a couple of these are a little bit more than what I would call a tonal. Because I'm a loop starter, some of this will naturally fade out, but like those blues especially are a little bit more than tonal. But yeah, so I don't want it to look stripey. And then also I'm concerned about, do I have enough floss? Like, what did I buy it for, right? Like, I don't remember. And I bought it so long ago, I'm not sure I would have paid attention. So I don't know. We'll see. I think my problem is just that, like, I love the cover image so much that that's what I want it to look like. And I think I'm like intimidated or, you know, worried that mine will look different in ways that I don't want it to look different. But yeah, that's been, I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I feel like I probably bought it in 2021. Whoops. Water break. Okay. These next ones, and I do have to turn this tablet back on because I have a couple pictures that I need just to like refresh my memory. Oh my goodness. Okay, hopefully editing Danielle will make that better. So I have 2 paper patterns, and then I have 2 that I don't have as paper or printed out, so I'll just insert pictures. And then like I said, the last one is, I haven't even bought it yet. But I need the pictures on my tablet to remind me. Okay, so this is called, and again, I've owned this for so long. It is called Fairy Garden by Blackbird Designs. And it is really, there, that's a little, get the light on there a little bit more. So I just love it so much. I think it is so cute. Like, this little house sitting in the basket of flowers just kills me. Like, and I could just get lost of like thinking of the little fairy that lives there. It's just so cute. The reason, and you might think like, what's intimidating about that? That's pretty small. So let's see. First of all, I have stitched 1 Blackbird design. And when I stitched that, like I had bought it fully kitted. And when I went to go start it and I really looked at the colors, I was like, I hate every last one of these colors. So I have a feeling, first of all, I'm glad to see I won't have to do any color conversion off the bat because these are all gentle arts, so that's great. However, I know this is an older design. I mean, it's not like old, but it's old enough that A, dye lots will have changed, and B, I think I just realized that like I'm not really a fan of Blackbird colors, and also I think that when I go to actually pull these colors, they're not going to look like the model. So I feel like I'm going to have to do pretty much a full color conversion like I did with What Remains. So that's a very like daunting thought. Basically, I'm going to have to take this pattern and whatever fabric I pick, 2 acorns. I'm going to have to pull probably, so it does give a DMC suggestion. So I feel like the DMC would be a truer, you know, a truer preview of what it is intended to look like, because the DMC dye lots will not have changed like the Gentle Art dye lots will have. So pull the DMC and then, you know, see where those go, right, in the chart. And then if something doesn't make sense to me, then I'm going to have to change it. Like, I can already tell you that I'm not really sure that I like whatever these greens are. The pinks look fine on the cover, but like the cover of What Remains, like it looked like there was blue and pink in that chart and there was no blue or pink. So I just feel like this one is going to be a lot of work to get what I want. Okay. Next up, I have again owned this chart forever. And actually I realized that I own it digitally, so this is gonna go in my destash bucket. This is called Jeweled Baubles by Shannon Christine. And I saw somebody stitching this on Flosstube years ago and was just stunned by it. It is gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And when I tell you that the reason we are not stitching it is because beads. So I'm actually surprised. There's only 4 beads in here. But I feel like that can't be right. I feel like there were specialty beads. Yeah, like I feel like there were specialty beads in here that I didn't even know how to source, like bugle beads and stuff like that. Like it's not just, oh yeah, no, there we go. There we go. See, I was right. So the back only shows you the seed beads, but then there's a whole page of the chart dedicated to crystals. So yeah, I feel like, and then also there is metallic, I think, maybe not. Yeah, no, Krynic, fine braid. Krynic. I see at least 3 Krynics. So, yeah. So, yeah. Krynic beads, treasures, but it is really stunning. And I do own it digitally, so I'm gonna add this to my like destash freebie table. Okay, so the next 3 are all I'm gonna put pictures in. The first one is, I'm trying not to sit like right in your face. So the first one is Night Walked Down by the Blue Flower. I have loved this chart for a while. And I think the reason, so the first reason is she big. She is very large. I know I've put her into Pattern Keeper or Markup before. I want to say it's like 17,000 stitches. Can't remember off the top of my head, but she is very large. But the other thing is, oh, and I know that I will have to do a little bit of converting because I know there's weeks in there. And also, I feel like it is imperative to get the fabric perfect for it. I don't want to order fabric specifically for it. I feel like it needs to be something already in my stash because it's such a, you know, white definitely has to show up on it. And it's such a weird, like purpley brown fabric that it just really, I don't even think you can order fabric for it and get like what you're expecting, you know? So, because it's just gonna depend on which way the dye lot leaned, you know? So I think just between needing perfect fabric and it being big and having to do a little bit of converting, she's still sitting on my to be stitched bucket list, and that's why she's not kitted up. The next one is the 12 Days of Christmas patterns by Hello from Liz Matthews. I own all of them. I might not own the 12th just because I can't remember. I know the 12th came out at Market, but I, of course, was waiting to purchase it as a PDF, and I just can't remember if I have or not. But that is a big, big project. I had bought all of the samplers up through 11, and I put them all in markup, and I added up, like, how many stitches are in the trees and how many stitches are in the samplers. And like the trees are definitely fewer stitches, and I do think I would like to stitch the trees so that they could be displayed, like I would kind of like them like displayed at different heights and stuff like that. But also the idea of like a huge wall hanging with the samplers is very tempting. So first of all, I can't totally commit to do I do trees or do I do samplers. Second of all, huge, right? Just massive. I think, and this was before the 12th day was released, I think that the trees totaled like 45,000 stitches and the samplers were 60 or 65,000. So I imagine the trees are pushing 50,000 stitches and the samplers are pushing 70,000 stitches. That's a big project. But like, I love them and I need to do, I have bought many a 12-day patterns because I need to do a 12-day project, and that's the one I love the most, but it is, of course, it's the biggest. So now the last project, the last, the one that is so intimidating to me, I don't even own it. I am talking about Fancy and ABC by Modern Folk Embroidery. I think this is just stunning. I just can't. It's so beautiful. I don't know what it is about it that draws me in so much, but it is around 80,000 stitches. So, and I believe it would need a yard of fabric as well. And then also just like, how do you even choose a color? How do you even, for something that is so large and is going to take you so long, how do you even choose a color that you're going to be married to for the rest of your life, stitching / then hopefully someday being on your wall? How do you even pick a color? I don't know. So, and then also, how do you even choose stitching it in the positive or the negative? Because you could do either way. According to Jacob, either way is about as many stitches, you know? So like, how do you even pick? I don't know. I think I would stitch, I think I would have the negative, like, I think I would have all the design elements be the fabric. So I would stitch it in the negative. So that all of the design elements, all the birds, all the flowers were the fabric showing through. That's what I think I would do. But yeah, so those are the projects that I identified as sort of my like top. I think there was 12, but you know, my sort of bucket list, my sort of like, you know, I'm too intimidated by these projects. So let me know what's your favorite. Do you have any of these? Do you have them as whips? Have you stitched them? Anything you want to stitch together? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all those good YouTube-y things. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!